Alrighty guys, welcome back to Regal Metalworks. This is going to be the second video of the Bruce. We are going to get into the fabrication now, so buckle up, sit back, enjoy. You got any questions, feel free to post them below and I'll try to answer them as best I can. I don't have any footage of us bending any of the material. I apologize for that, but we do have plenty of welding and fitting things up. So sit back and enjoy, all right? So here's the roll bar that we're going to use that we made yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't do much filming of it. I just jumped into it and didn't even think about filming it. And I apologize, but anything else we do, we're going to go ahead and film. So we went ahead, this is going to be the harness bar here. Now this measures the fit right inside, and we have enough room to come down. We didn't make it too complicated. We didn't, wire it out or anything like that to bring it down. We just kind of did a simple hoop. And then these are the plates that I welded on yesterday evening before I left, and you can see I did get a little bit of video footage of that. So these are the 3/16 inch plates that are welded on. Identical 3/16 inch plate will go underneath the sheet metal. So this will get placed in place and drilled out on the floorboard, and then we'll run 1/2 inch bolts through there. And that will sandwich this down. Now this is the area where on the rear seat there was 2 other major large bolts that bolted in the frame for the rear seat, and we can design a simple bracket that will go off and bolt right through the same bolts, and that'll give you a pretty sturdy piece. So then when we tie on from up here, we're going to tie on up here, and we're going to run our bars across. When we do that, and then we go down into the front, that'll make this thing square, so that we'll have a lot more support. Ideally, you want to connect your bottom too as well across, but we're just not going to be able to do that at this point. So here's the front bar. We got a driver side and a passenger side, and this is the bar that's going to attach right here into the back half. This will get coped or notched out to fit in there like a fish mouth, and then I'll get welded. We'll have to weld that in the car. It's difficult to weld in the car. You need a lot of room, and if you could weld it outside, it's so much easier. But you're not going to be able to put it in. That big hoops is hard enough to put in as it is. So this follows the line across, and then there's a 15-degree bend here, right where the A pillar meets the roof line, and then it comes over here to a 75-degree bend, and that will go down, and this will also get welded to another plate and bolted. And we are using 1 3/4 inch by 125 wall. That's 1/8 inch thick, DOM, which stands for drawn over mandrel, and that's the type of material ideally you would want to use for a roll cage. Some racing applications will let you use chromoly, which chromoly is stiffer and stronger. You can run thinner gauge wall, so you actually have some weight savings with it. But it's a little bit more difficult to work with. It's harder to bend, and the only way you can weld it is to TIG weld it. You cannot MIG weld that. But we are TIGging everything here. We may MIG the front plate here in place in the car, just because once we get it in there, we'll see. I'm not sure. All right. Take these seats out, but we might have to. Be able to get this in fine yesterday without the plates welded to it, but now the plates are just hanging up on everything. All right, we were able to get that seat out. It only had two bolts in it. This car is disgusting. Anybody want a French fry? It had literally 2 bolts that were barely in. I took them out by hand. Take 2. Going this way. I'll take you in here and let you see. So there's not a good way to really get in there and mark that, so I just pre-drilled it with a smaller drill bit. So what I'm going to do is drill this out with a bigger drill bit, get it a little bit oversized so that we can bolt into it, and I'll do the other side before I start drilling that out. So we'll just move this out of the way a little bit. That is seriously thin sheet metal. So there's grade 12 bolts, matching plate right here. This will go underneath, so this sandwiches basically the sheet metal together, so that it's as added strength. So bolting this to the chassis here, to the unibody instead of the frame, also welding it to the frame, also gives it the ability to remove this body at a future date, that if he does his motor swap, honestly it's going to be 1,000 times easier if he takes this body off. And with a lift and a couple bolts undone, this thing will be unbolted, no problem. So we just need to rinse and repeat, do it the same thing over there on that side, and I'll be back when we're done with that. You don't need to watch that. Alrighty guys, this is where we're going to go ahead and end that second video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see the third part that should be coming up in the next day or two whenever I have time to edit it. I want to show you something really cool that came in today. Check that bad boy out. That's pretty cool. This supposedly is a 25 to 30 horse motor, and this is a bar stool, one of those bar stool kits, I guess. And the customer wanted something different. He wanted to convert it into like a four-wheeler flat tracker. So I had to weld in some bars for him here, weld in the steering column, and then we're going to do a bar set that comes back and ties in down there, and then a piece that loops up through here, and then we're going to do a whole front end on it because it looks pretty naked here in the front. No idea how it's going to turn out, but it seems sketchy. But look how wide those tires are. It's insane. They're at least 9 inches wide. Should be cool.
So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. This is going